Victoria's Secret is bringing back its fashion show. It was an annual event, and it's been a 4-year hiatus since it was last on. It was canceled after its lowest ratings ever in 2018. And so they're going to bring it back. And yet it doesn't sound like we're necessarily going to be getting like the Stephanie Seymour angels with the wings and the skimpy outfits. I'm not sure, because Victoria's Secret has gone woke. There's Giselle since it was last on. In 2019, they hired their first transgender model because, of course, right, yet another space that women used to dominate, and now, no. The angels were later replaced by Victoria's Secret Collective, an unparalleled group of trailblazing partners who share a common goal to drive positive change. Instead of Giselle, we have Megan Rapinoe. Instead of Stephanie Seymour, we have, a refugee from South Sudan. We have, of course, the plus-size models. We've got Priyanka Chopra Jonas because, I don't know, she's diverse and she's married to a Jonas. And they've been featuring women of all shapes and sizes, as well as the various nods to diversity and inclusion. As soon as they did that, FYI, Bridget, their sales fell 8%, and they went down another 4.5% in the last year. So people don't seem to be responding particularly well to the heavy-set models who are refugees and also men. But you tell me whether this is going to work.
I mean, Rihanna does it so much better. She basically destroyed their entire, their whole thing. Her Fenty, like fashion show that she does, it was very always just diverse, but it wasn't forced. It was just Rihanna being effortlessly cool, and her Fenty brand is amazing. And she had all kinds of people. It was a whole artistic thing. And then Victoria's Secret was getting their she was eating their lunch, basically, Rihanna. And Victoria's Secret saw that they were losing in this space, and they tried to pivot away from what they were. But this is like when Playboy tried to stop having nudes. You can't, you're Victoria's Secret. We know you for the angels. We know what you are. So don't try and pivot away from that. Just try and lean into it. I loved the angels. I grew up with them.
Me too.
Loved them. Did I think I could ever be an angel? No. Did that make me feel sad? No, because you have to be a well-adjusted person. You can't be everything. That's just not realistic. They're gorgeous, superhuman models. They're like aliens. There's nobody who looks like that. And it was so fun to see the pageantry around it, and they were just stunning. And then Rihanna started doing her thing, and it was different. It's different, but also amazing. And she just naturally was herself. I think why people don't respond to this is that they're trying to be something they're not, and they're trying to signal. And it's just, everybody sees through it. People aren't stupid. They're just trying to do this because they want to try and be woke, or they want to try and, I don't know. I don't really.
No, it's such box checking. It's like you point out. So Rihanna does one with actual diversity because these are the people who she thinks look great and wants to promote.
Yeah.
But they're like, okay, we've got the Indian girl, we've got the lesbian soccer player, we've got the refugee, we've got the skier, we've got the heavyset, plus size model. Okay, we're good, right? It's like they don't actually care about diversity. They're just trying to appease different groups. Oh, the trans, the trans girl. Like we got to make sure that we check all the boxes. Meanwhile, if you ask me, the reason that their brand was falling apart and the people weren't watching the shows back in 1819 is because of Lex Wessler, the guy who ran it, and his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, which came out, which caused some serious backlash at the company. I mean, it's like, look what happened to Prince Andrew for being friends with Jeffrey Epstein. This guy, Lex, what's his name, was he was in the news for being way tighter with Epstein. There was a backlash against the company. I don't think they needed to get rid of the sexy bras and panties and the angels.
Right. It's already something that people were pivoting away from too. It was the Me Too era. It was on the heels of that. I mean, we saw what happened with Playboy during that time. It was very weird time to be writing at Playboy when I was writing at Playboy, because it was 2015. It was on the heels of Me Too, which really started in 2013. And then you saw the fallout across all of these industries with Epstein and like you said, with Victoria's Secret and all the people who had ties to this. And you started hearing stories about all of these young women who are essentially being trafficked. And this affected all of these industries. They were not, people weren't smiling at the idea that some of these models might have been trafficked by the guy who ran the company. So yeah, I think it's easy to kind of hide and say, oh, we're not woke enough, when actually you're just associated with a predator. And it would be an easy way to pivot away from that.
Yeah, to dodge it. And here, and like, why would Megan Rapinoe provide cover for, the scandal of Les Wexler? Like, why would she lend her name and brand to that? Is it so important to her to see herself in a Victoria's Secret, ad? How about Priyanka Chopra? She doesn't need to do that. Like, why be associated with the brand at all, given those circumstances? But in any event, that's what's happened. So here's what they say. We needed to stop being about what men want and to be about what women want, which is so annoying, right? Like, oh, right, all we want is granny panties. That's all we want, right? Like, we don't like to look sexy. That's only for a man. Like, it's not that every woman I know has got a little of both in her underwear drawer, right? You got your granny panties for that time of the month or whatever when you're at home sitting on the sofa. And then you got your sauce department for when you want to bring it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it's always this speaking on behalf of all people, as if I loved the lingerie, but it's not something I'm wearing every single day. It's something you wear when you go out and you want to feel a little sexy. And I don't understand too. They'll say that women get dressed up for women. They're not actually getting dressed up for men. And then they'll also say, we want a brand that's for women. And then it's like granny panties and kind of frumpy underwear. So which
flannel.
One is it?
More flannel. There's a place for that. I would not get my flannel from Victoria's Secret, by the way. I really wouldn't.
Okay, they have amazing very nice flannel though, Megyn.
They do.
They do. They have amazing flannel.
Personally, I see Victoria's Secret as like a bit of a younger brand. I mean, I was shopping there more when I was like in my 20s. And now I'm an agent provocateur. No, not really. Doug would like me to be shopping at agent provocateur. I'm going to tell you a funny story. I'm not going to name the name, but it's somebody I used to work with at Fox. Okay, that's all I'm going to tell you. And this person, I used to go over to her building. I wasn't visiting her. She and I weren't that close, but another person was in that building. And I used to see the bags lined up in the lobby because, when you get a delivery in a doorman building in New York, your bag, so that the bags were all lined up and it was like agent provocateur, agent provocateur, agent provocateur, agent provocateur. I was like, well. And that's all I'm going to say. It's a little tease for you, Bridget. Got any guesses?
I don't have that many guesses. I was not really watching that much Fox to even make a guess.
Mudwater is a coffee alternative with 4 adaptogenic mushrooms and Ayurvedic herbs. With only a fraction of caffeine as a cup of coffee, you get energy without the jitters or the crash that comes from coffee. Each ingredient was added for a purpose. Cacao and chai for mood. Doesn't cacao always stop you in your tracks? You don't often see it written, but cacao. And chai for mood, and just a hint of caffeine, just a hint. Lion's mane to support focus. I should have had that before I read this ad. Cinnamon for antioxidants, and much, much more. Mud is Whole30 approved, 100% USDA organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher certified. Mudwater donates monthly to the Berkeley Center for the Science of Psychedelics, as Mudwater believes the country is in a mental health epidemic and sees psychedelics as useful tools for individuals with depression, PTSD, anxiety, and other mental health problems. We did a great episode on that. You should check it out. Mud is not wrong. Go to mudwater.com/Megyn, and that is spelled MUDWTR.com/MEGYN. Okay? MUDWTR.com/Megyn to support the show and use that code MEGYNMUD, MEGYNMUD, for 15% off. MUDWTR.com/Megyn. Use the code MEGYNMUD. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.